This is what you need to know now. From the White House to this quiet suburb in New York, Bill and Hillary Clinton now under oath inside the building behind me, questioned in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein case. Who's asking the questions and what their testimony could mean. Plus this.
Oh my God.
The new video showing a skier dangling from a chairlift in California. What happened next? Gas mask, bug spray, and a hidden camera. A couple says their roommate poisoned their food. What investigators say they found on home surveillance video. The video of a car crash in Connecticut. See who was driving this Bentley at 100 miles an hour. And from struggle to surge, how a cookie story went viral, helping save a Girl Scout troop, and a lot more. We have much more what you need to know now. I'm Rachel Scott from ABC News. It is Thursday, February 26th, and this is what you need to know. Let's get right to the big story. I'm here in Chappaqua, New York, where we are going to see Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton testify in front of the House Oversight Committee. Now, all of this is going to be playing out behind closed doors. This is a Republican-led investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. The Clintons resisted coming forward and testifying before lawmakers, calling the committee's subpoena legally invalid. But after Republicans pushed forward with trying to hold them in contempt of Congress, they did reverse course. So this is going to be taking place over 2 separate days, first starting with Hillary Clinton, then followed by Bill Clinton tomorrow. And I'm told it's going to center around several different areas, from how the government allegedly mishandled the inquiry into Epstein to how he worked with powerful people to protect himself. Hillary Clinton denies ever having any sort of relationship with Epstein, but her husband, the former president, was friendly with him for years. Important to note, Clinton has never been accused of any wrongdoing by Epstein's victims, and he does deny having any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Stay with ABC News for coverage of these depositions. The other big story that we are following, the U.S. and Iran holding high-stakes indirect talks in Geneva, described by some as a last chance for diplomacy over Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S. has recently surged warships into the region amid warnings from Iran that any American strike could spark a much wider war. Ian Pannell is in Tel Aviv.
Rachel, it does feel like we're approaching the 11th hour. I think the fact that these talks have taken place at all in Geneva should be seen as positive. The big question is this the end of the talking, or will there be another round? Secretary of State Marco Rubio suggested this wouldn't be the last time to talk. I think it all depends on what the US negotiating team hears from the Iranian side. Is it willing to make key concessions on its nuclear program? What is it exactly that the US is demanding? As we've heard a number of different, sometimes contradictory things from President Trump himself. The Iranians saying they are willing to talk, they want a peaceful solution, but warning that if they are attacked, they will respond against US assets and bases throughout the region. Meanwhile, you've got this continual buildup of a massive military presence by the US in the region, the most significant presence we've seen in years. The USS Gerald Ford aircraft carrier, the world's largest, with an incredible array of firepower and defensive capabilities, now heading in this direction.
Also happening today in Geneva, a Ukrainian delegation is meeting with U.S. envoys ahead of another round of trilateral talks with Russia. President Zelensky says discussions will include a possible prisoner exchange and also planning for post-war recovery. Russia launched 420 drones and 39 missiles across Ukraine Thursday morning, injuring dozens and damaging critical energy infrastructure. Zelensky says most were intercepted, but warns Ukraine still needs more air defense. Next, new details in the deadly confrontation between a Florida-registered speedboat and Cuban border troops. The Cuban government says the boat's passengers opened fire on Cuban forces and 4 people were killed. Martha Raddatz has the latest.
Secretary of State Rubio made clear that the U.S. does not trust the Cuban investigation and said the U.S. is doing its own and will want access to the dead and wounded if they are American citizens or residents. But when asked if any U.S. government personnel were involved in the incident or a U.S. government operation, Rubio said flatly, no, but many questions remain.
Back in the U.S., a federal judge in Tennessee is set to hear arguments today over whether Kilmore Abrego Garcia is being vindictively prosecuted in December. The judge ruled there was enough evidence to consider claims that the case may have been brought in retaliation. Abrego Garcia, Salvadoran national who lived in Maryland with his family, was deported despite a 2019 court order protecting him from removal to El Salvador. He was later returned to the U.S., charged with human smuggling, and has pleaded not guilty. Meanwhile, a judge has ruled it is illegal for the Department of Homeland Security to deport immigrants to third countries without notice. His ruling also says immigrants should get more time to challenge their deportation. The government has 2 weeks to appeal that case. A third victim has now died after last week's shooting at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island. Police say the shooter's father-in-law has died from his injuries. The suspect's ex-wife and adult son were also killed. Police say the shooter was subdued by bystanders before turning the gun on himself. He reportedly had a history of mental health concerns. A California couple says their roommate poisoned them, allegedly spraying bug spray on their food inside their shared home. Deputies say they responded Tuesday to reports of suspected poisoning at the home in Santa Clarita. The couple says they became suspicious after months of illness and multiple trips to the emergency room. Surveillance video appears to show the roommate wearing a gas mask and spraying what looks like bug spray on groceries and produce. The suspect was taken into custody following a standoff with deputies. Turning now to Chicago, where a celebration of life for Reverend Jesse Jackson is now underway. The service marks the start of a multi-city farewell, honoring the civil rights icon. Mourners are paying their respects as his body lies in repose at the Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters before traveling to South Carolina and to Washington, D.C. later in the week. Jackson died last week at 84 years old. And we have much more of what you need to know. Stay with us. Here's your daily briefing. Other big stories that we are following on ABC News. Sources say the number of calls to police about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has now tapered off. The number of tips surged after Guthrie's daughter, Savannah, announced a $1 million reward in the case. Sources also say the FBI is now shifting agents from Tucson back to the Bureau's office in Phoenix as they focus on analyzing evidence. Police video shows former WWE boss Vince McMahon speeding on a Connecticut highway last summer before rear-ending another car and crashing. Police say McMahon was driving at least 100 miles per hour. No one was injured. McMahon was charged with reckless driving and following too closely. He was allowed to enter a pretrial probation program. In California, riders at Big Bear Mountain say they rushed to help after spotting a skier dangling high above ground. Video shows the group holding on to the skier to keep them from falling while others called for help. Officials say the quick action likely prevented a far more serious outcome. At the box office, Zootopia 2 just reached another milestone, surpassing a Minecraft movie to become the highest grossing domestic release of 2025, raking in $424.2 million in ticket sales in the U.S. You can catch Zootopia 2 in theaters, and it's also available for purchase on demand. The movie also received an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature. We'll be rooting for the whole zoo when the Oscars airs on Sunday, March 15th on ABC, streaming live on Hulu. And new today, a big announcement for New York's World Trade Center complex. 2 World Trade Center will start construction this spring, the final office tower yet to be built as we approach the 25th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. American Express will build its new headquarters at the location. The 55-story building is expected to be completed by 2031. And finally, before you go, a Girl Scout troop in Chicago that needed to sell just 2,100 boxes of cookies to stay afloat has now topped 22,000. Earlier this month, news reports highlighted their struggles, including on Good Morning America. Then order sales started to pour on in. The troop leaders say the cookie sales will be used to invest in the girls' experiences, like taking them camping and buying them better uniforms. And that's what you need to know. For breaking news and live updates throughout the day, check out ABC News, streaming on Disney+. New episodes streaming every day on Disney+.